Open up the door, it's Dave!
Who?
Dave! D-A-V-E!
Dave?
Right, man, Dave.
Dave's not here.
Today we're talking about taking a little road trip down to Islamorada. Islamorada is about, 80 miles or so from where we live. So we'll get in the car and we'll drive down there. And here's the interesting thing. Because it's 80 miles away, that means that I have to actually consider charging because it'll be 80 miles, it's 160 miles. So there's probably going to need to be a charge in there somewhere. Probably. So let's use the map coordinates to figure it out, and we'll route a round trip too, just because it should be interesting to see how that works. Okay, first off, when we look at where the superchargers are, if we scroll out here a little bit and turn the map, we should be able to see we're here, right there. And if we go down to the Keys, we see that here in Homestead, there's a charging station there. And there's one in Marathon, which is a little bit further south. We want to go to there, which is Islamorada. And then there's another charging station down by Big Pine Key, which is even further south. So we might be able to use that one or this one, depending on how it goes. Now I'm charged to 100% right now, so it shouldn't be an issue to do the trip. So let's go ahead and figure out what the route would be. Let's go ahead and put in where I want to wind up is the Islamorada Fish Company. Oops, did I spell it wrong? Yeah, I did. Okay, Islamorada Fish Company. Let's go ahead and hit that. That's where I want to wind up. So I should have enough of a charge to make it down there without any issues. And sure enough, it says that I can take the route and actually make it down there without charging. And when I get there, I'll be there with 49% of my battery, which means that I won't be able to quite make it back on one charge. Pretty close, but not quite. You can see that the total distance is 97 miles according to this. So just to give you an idea of kind of where it is, that kind of gives you a sense of what we're looking at. So I know that I can make it down there. Now the question is, can I make it back? So we're going to edit the trip. Okay. Now I see that I had to close it and reopen it, and I see that it updated and says it's 50% I need. So theoretically I could make it there and back, but I know that I won't be able to given the way the system works. So let's go ahead and do an edit to the trip here. Now, one thing you cannot do is do a round trip. It won't let you do a round trip on this, but what you can do is you can add a stop. So I'm going to add a stop that's going to be something that's near my house at this point. Let's say the Cypress Bay High School, that's near my house. So that'll get me the round trip, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see if it got it right. Let's edit the trip a little bit. So I want to go there second, so I'm going to move that down like that. And I'll say done, and it'll recalculate for me. So it should do the trip for me like this. So what it's telling me is that I'm going to drive all the way down. I'll go all the way down there. I'll be down in Islamorada. And then on the way back, I'm going to have to stop at this supercharger to get some energy. And I'll only be there for a few minutes, just to get a little energy to be able to charge back up. So like 10 minutes there. Should be a pretty quick charge. Now, the other thing I wanted to do was, what if I wanted to make one little stop? There's a fruit stand along the way that's sometimes fun to stop at. So let's add another stop in there. And Robert clicked on the wrong one. Is here fruit stand, that's where we want to go. So let's go ahead and just check the routing, see if it's taking me to the right place first. Let's edit the trip. Yep, because I want to go there first, then Islamorada, then back to Cypress Bay. So that should do it for me. So now what it's telling me is that I should take the trip down, it's on the way. So I'll go to Robert is here first, and I'll stop there. Then I'll go on to the Islamorada Fish Company. Then when I'm on my way back, I'm going to have to stop and charge. And it's telling me I'll have about 25% when I get there, which is fine. So that means I could drive around Islamorada a little bit while I'm there. I can kind of, tool around a little bit and have a little fun. While I'm there, this is where the fish company is. But there's along the overseas highway, there's a couple of places you can go. There's a beach, there's a couple of other places to stop, little tourist destinations that we may stop at along the way. So that's kind of the plan, right? To go a couple of places. That's where we want to probably eat lunch. But other than that, we might want to stop a few places. So I can make this work for myself, knowing that I can wind up with 25%. I can make this work pretty well. Now, the other option I have, of course, is to go ahead and when I'm on the way down, I should get to Robert is here with 71%, right? And that's near the supercharger. So I could go ahead and stop there and charge back up to something like 80% and get my 10% charge or so. And that may give me enough to make it all the way back. I don't know, I'll think about that as I'm there. But this should be fine. It should be no problem. Even with 200 miles of range, I should be just fine. I shouldn't have any range anxiety. It should work out just fine. Robert is here as kind of a fun little fruit stand. It's sort of this throwback to a different era where you had these local farmers that would grow things and they would sell them here. And the big draw is some of their milkshakes and smoothies that they make. That's what people love to get here. And there's a lot of gifts and different things, different fruits you can't find other places. So it's worth a visit. If you've never been here and you're headed down this way, it's kind of fun. It's a fun, kitschy place. But anyway, when I got here, the car was at 25%. Originally it had said, why don't you stop on the way down? But I ignored that. And it readjusted itself and said, no, we'll keep going and send you on down to Islamorada after this. So that's where we're going. So no problem. We made it down to Islamorada, and we're actually at a place called Anne's Beach, which is always kind of a nice place to go. Hanging out here for a little bit, and got down here with about 43% on the battery. So to get back to the charging station should take me to about 19, maybe 20%, give or take. At least that's what it's telling me. We'll see how that works out when we actually get going, but it should be fine. No problem. We're doing well taking this trip. I had no real range anxiety as we were leaving the Keys, but it was a minor thing in the back of my mind as I looked at it and saw that I had, like 20% left as we were hitting some traffic. The routing still told me I was fine and I'd reach here with about 12%, which is exactly what I had when I reached here. So it was perfect as far as that goes. It was just a kind of a funny moment. But otherwise, no range anxiety. It was down to the Keys. We were in Islamorada. We left. Only charging this one time here in Florida City, and then we'll head home. And that's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I had never taken the Tesla to the Keys before, but that was easy. I did think at one point that I might take another 15 miles trip further south and actually go to Marathon to do some charging, but changed my mind at the last minute. Was like, you know what, I'm good. I'm just gonna go ahead and just turn around and head back that way, rather than going 15 miles out of my way. So that's it. That was pretty straightforward. We'll have a charge, be on our way in less than 10 minutes.
What's your point, David?